Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Beliefcast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester, your host of the Beliefcast. My guest today is Curtis Marsh. Curtis is a TEDx speaker, wealth advisor, transformational leader with nearly 4 decades of helping people find clarity, purpose, and peace. His TEDx talk, Rise Above the Chaos, tells his powerful story of losing almost everything and rebuilding it from the inside out. Curtis teaches a profound truth. Chaos isn't our enemy. It's an invitation to realign, rise higher, and remember who we were always meant to be. As president and CEO of Capital Growth Management, he blends financial wisdom with personal transformation to help create lasting abundance. Curtis, truly an honor to have you on my show today. And we've known each other for a while via social media.
Right.
And we know a lot of mutual friends. And we finally get to meet face to face. And it truly is an honor to have you here. I really do respect your dedication and your passion to make this world a better place.
That's a mutual feeling, my friend. I've watched you for years, and
thank you.
You've had a lot of great guests on the show, and I respect your story and admire it. So thanks. It's an honor.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Well, and we're going to add you to that list of great guests, and I agree with you. I've had some amazing people. You're going to be one of those as well. And I also want to just give a shout out to the listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the sponsors. Without you, I could not do this.
Yeah.
So thank you for supporting this great thing. And we'll get this out to the masses. That's the goal, is to, if we can touch some lives with this, which we will. I mean, how cool is that, right?
Yeah. You just, whenever you speak, your hope is that one life will be changed.
Yeah.
And so I know you had a lot of experiences there, and I've had some as well, and it's just a beautiful way to kind of give back I call it the circle of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we are reaching back and pulling others along.
Very cool. Well, Curtis, why don't we start with, for our listeners to get to know you a little bit, like maybe tell us where you're from and then a little bit about your family growing up.
Sure. I grew up in Bountiful, Utah. My dad always says, hey, make sure you tell people you grew up in Rose Park, because I was actually born in Rose Park. And he says, because then they'll think you're tougher than you really are.
Like, ooh, you got some street cred.
Yeah. He says, because those guys are tough on the west side. Right? That was my parents went to West High and so forth. We moved to Bountiful when I was about 5, and I had an amazing family, kind of like you've seen my TEDx talk, and I talk about how, we had family prayer, we had get-togethers. We did a lot with this cul-de-sac that we lived in. There were just some amazing times growing up.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest of 4, and that plays into kind of part of my story, because being brought up in a religious family, and it's nothing against religion, but with the religious beliefs that we had, and also being the oldest, my dad, I felt, expected me to be that P word, perfect.
Yeah, a lot of expectations on the oldest.
Oh.
You set the example, right?
Yeah. Hey, your brothers and sisters are watching you.
Yeah.
Keep the Marsh name clean. All those things are great, but as a child, that puts a lot of weight on you.
And then,
you couple that with the religious beliefs, and man, Todd, I really thought I was going to hell if I got out of alignment with my true self. So I went through life, and at the age of 23, I became the youngest financial consultant ever hired for a major Wall Street firm. And I don't say that boastfully. I say that because that's kind of where a pivotal moment took place in my life. I look back at these pivotal moments that we all have, and I remember sitting there at 23, and the first year I made $80,000. This was in 1986, and
boy, you're thinking you're balling at that point, right? You're like, dang,
Todd, and you've played sports and you've had success in things, and you know how it is. And I didn't do this, but this is how I felt.
Yeah,
I must have come across to God, my higher power, is I kissed both my biceps and I says, hey, I've got this. This is all about Curtis Marsh. If I need you, I'll call you. Right?
Right.
You've been there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay?
Totally.
So we just become bulletproof and invincible, and I'm thinking $80,000. I'm 23 years old. Got a BMW or a Mercedes. It's that slow tick out of alignment with our true self.
Yeah.
We are aligned with certain things that bring us certain blessings in life.
Sure.
And when we get out of alignment, those blessings don't come.
Right.
And so it's little breadcrumbs. You look back at anybody's story who's here at Wasatch or in your life, my life.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of success working in the investment business, and it just kind of compounded. It was like one thing after another. I remember it started, it's almost kind of funny. It started with a cup of coffee.
Right.
And I beat myself up so bad because of in the religion that we're part of, coffee was against a no-no. Yeah. And I thought,
now you've done it.
I'm really, now I've done it. And then it started with beers with the guys. And pretty soon it evolved to where I was doing more and more of this to cover the pain, the shame, the guilt, and I'm hiding it, which even makes it worse. Yeah. So you got to have a few more, to even sleep at night. And, I think the message I want people to get from my story is, those things will take you out of alignment with what's true.
Right. And
your true self and the many blessings that come from staying in alignment. But it's so easy to get off track, and it's just as easy to get back on. Yeah. Don't let yourself get too far down into the forest.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you in the beginning went way off course.
Yeah.
So if you'd share with us, and our listeners, like, you're 23, feel like you got the world by the hairs, and man, things start to change. These pivotal moments you talked about.
Yeah. So the lifestyle of what business I was in, it wasn't, everybody didn't participate in it, but I got caught up in it. And a lot of that was ego, arrogance, all those things that are force fields that don't let the spirit and humility and gratitude really penetrate. Yeah. And my world was, I was very successful in the worldly sense.
Right.
If you were to look at Curtis Marsh, look at the houses, the cars, the motorcycles, and a lot of that, I'll come back to that. But in the worldly sense, I was successful. But inside, I had cracked. I'd become a broken man because of the choices that had taken me out of alignment. Yeah. And then I'm covering up even more and more and more and hiding it. Yeah. And that builds and builds and builds. So it was a very successful career. I say that not from an arrogant I hope it never comes across that way.
Sure, no.
But as a reference point that it can happen to all of us. It's not just, sometimes we see people and say, oh, there's no way they could fall into addiction. They got everything going for them. It's only the people that are homeless or something like that.
Right,
no. By the grace of God go I, and you, it could happen to anybody.
Anybody.
So those choices, small, one at a time, led me finally to where, you have to surrender. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing, but it's the greatest strength that we can all give ourselves. Yeah. Full surrender is the greatest blessing that we can truly give ourselves, because now we open up. Sometimes when people see me on social media, they'll see me doing a pose, and they've coined it the Rise Above pose. Yeah. And I'm just really holding my arms open to surrender, a funnel for blessings and giving gratitude to my higher power, which is God and Jesus Christ.
Right.
People have different higher powers. I'm not here to preach that, but
sure,
you have to have one in order to really rise above where you're at.
Well, your TED Talk was titled, Rise Above the Chaos, and you talk about how chaos is actually a realignment kind of thing. And
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for when you're in the thick of the chaos to see it that way, right? But if you would, share with us, how you came and why you phrased it that way, because I think that's an interesting thing,
Yeah. Interesting story.
Yeah.
And I just talked to the guy last night, actually, who gave me that nickname of Chaos. We were riding Harleys, and we were all successful. Gary was from Boston, and a bunch of us got together, and we rode up, and we rode with Dee Snider and his band, and Vince Neil and Foghat. Yeah,
I was a huge. I loved his song. I want to rock.
I want to rock. Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He didn't drink or do drugs before the show. Because I was part of the security team.
Really?
He was actually meditating.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty
interesting.
It was pretty.
You never would have guessed that.
No,
right?
You would think this guy is nuts, and he's just a really neat guy. But we were up on this West Yellowstone, and then we went up into up over Beartooth and down into the Red Lodge. They have a rally up there, and I remember Gary looking over at me because he was just kind of blown away. It's the first time he'd ever been on a motorcycle, been at a rally.
Yeah.
And he comes out of Boston and just having a blast, and he looks over at me and he says, "You are just chaos, bro." And I said, "Chaos? That's not, that's not a good thing." I mean, because
right.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say chaos?
Destruction.
Okay. Whenever I speak, I ask the groups, and I think I've only got one that's given me a positive answer from that. But chaos, that was actually my nickname.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And at first I was like, wow, I really leaned into that. You know?
Right.
And we got to be careful of the labels we give ourselves.
We do, yes.
Because then I started really living into that. Creating chaos. I wanted to become that bad boy. I wanted to take all eyes off me. Look at my stuff. Look at this. Look at that. Don't look here.
Yeah.
Because there's really a broken man inside because of the choices that have taken me out of alignment.
Yeah.
So chaos became my nickname, and then I started to really study that word. And most people will say it's destruction or havoc or but the earth was made from chaos, correct? Mm-hmm. Formed from the chaos.
Yeah.
And the Chinese and Native Americans, they have a different meaning behind chaos. And it's from chaos comes new beginnings.
Mm.
You must have chaos in your life to give birth to a dancing new star. There is peace in the chaos. So they look at it completely different. And here I am, 43 years old. I was able to retire from my career, and I said, I got to get my life together. I've got to rise above this chaos that I created. Because chaos will come into our lives one of two ways, period.
Okay. One,
it's just life. Chaos is never meant to destroy us. It's meant to create us, but it can come in just because it can walk through that door right now, and we decide how long it stays. Whatever the event is in our life, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Chaotic. We've all had them. Or it comes from choices, from getting out of alignment with the true you, your true self, and you slowly get out of alignment. So there's two ways that you bring chaos into your life. And I thought, okay, I'm in a lot of it. My nickname, my tattoo on just above my ankle is the chaos symbol in Chinese. I was living that label, that name. So we got to be careful about this, the spells we put on ourselves,
right?
By the labels.
Yeah, labels are cages.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, and
you don't even realize it.
And you're actually putting that spell on yourself if you get into the African,
the black magic.
Yeah. So, how do I rise above the chaos? And because I had a lot of unraveling to do and a lot of secrets, and here I am married with two beautiful daughters, and left the financial world at the age of 43. That was 2006. And I thought, I got to get it together. I've got to get it together. And there were a handful of people that kind of knew what Curtis Marsh really was living. I was living that life on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And then I was a different person when I came home. So I had all this I had all this shame and guilt, So we talked about surrender. I finally surrendered, and I took care of the things that I needed to take care of. And that was that's the greatest gift we can give ourselves, is surrender.
Yeah.
Once we surrender, we open ourselves up to full transformation of self,
Right, yeah.
and getting back in alignment.
And that is a big word, and it's really difficult for people. I see it all the time with the clients that I deal with. And I heard it once said by a guy named D. Marble. He defines surrender as coming over to the winning side.
Wow. That's true,
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I think that fits perfectly, right?
Yeah, because we've all, I don't know what your definition was, but I always thought that's weak.
Yeah.
I'm waving the white flag. I
can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
no,
helpless.
Coming over to I love that.
Yeah, come on over to the winning side. Yeah.
I love
so
that
you talk about the moment when you felt like you finally fully surrendered. You want to share that with us again?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like where you're like, okay, I finally have turned it all over at this point.
Yeah, because surrender is, sometimes you go, well, I'll tell enough, and so I got a call from the people at TEDx, and they said, we heard from a guy that you ride Harleys with that you got quite a story. And I'd spoke a lot about financial topics and things like that across the country, but I hadn't ever spoke about anything outside of the financial world. I'm thinking, I don't really have anything. I turned them down it seemed like 3 or 4 times. And finally a buddy of mine said, bro, he says, do it. Get up there and just tell your story.
Yeah.
And so I remember going on that stage, and I talked about my story, my rise, my fall, and I really spent a lot of time getting into how to rise above, because we all have stories.
Yep.
And we all fall. But how do you really rise above? So my TEDx talk was based on rise above the chaos.
Yeah.
And I got to share that. It was filmed in an IMAX theater, so it was kind of dark. If you've seen the video,
Yes,
it's kind of
it is
dark in there. Yeah. But I knew that there was an audience up there because I sat in it before coming down, and I knew there were people there. But Todd, I finished that TEDx talk, and I always get emotional because I walked off that stage, and for the first time, I felt this rush of peace coming into my heart and my soul, that I had fully surrendered. I had shared with the world in that TEDx talk things that, and I walked off and I heard God say to me, there were people inspired, but that was for you. That was for you. And it was at that moment that my life had changed. And a little before, January 1st, 2010 is when I became clean and sober. And that was because in 2006, when I retired from the business, January of 2008, all those things that I had accumulated that I thought were just, a sign of wealth and success.
Yeah.
I lost everything in a nasty divorce in January. And I take full 100% ownership of that.
Yeah.
My arrogance, my pride, my cockiness.
Yeah.
So you can see how God slowly, gives you these pivotal moments. And so first week of January, I go into divorce court, and after the second day, the judge slammed his hand down and said I was probably one of the most egregious men that he's ever met. And
really?
Yeah. And I'm like, I've got more if you want it. No, I was really cocky.
But at that time, you probably thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you've seen it all? Yeah. Kind of thing. Yeah.
And I ruled my world with money and muscle. And I know that sounds so arrogant, cocky. I hate even saying that, but that was Curtis Marsh.
Yeah.
And so I got to spend 30 days in jail for contempt. He slammed his hand down, and said, that's the most egregious thing anyone's ever said to me. 18 years on the bench. You just got yourself 30 days. I'm thinking, good, I got money, I'll bail. He said, no bail.
Oh,
good,
wow.
I know people. Yeah, you know how judges are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I have a lot of respect for him. First time ever in court, and I'd come from Wall Street where, you use some pretty heavy language to gain respect.
Yeah.
But this was God again saying, hey, I got something to talk to you about. I got to slow you down. Yeah. So I spent 30 days in jail. I tell people, Todd, it was actually the best, worst 30 days of my life. And they go, how can it be best and worst at the same time? Well, it's kind of like chaos, right?
Yeah.
The yin and the yang, and
For sure.
the from chaos comes new beginnings. If you create it, you can let it crush you and become a victim, or you can take that and say, hey, this chaos is here for a reason. It's here to teach me something. It's here to create me to be a better person. And so, but most people don't know how to rise above that. So I get out of jail. It's 2008, and I was still angry, and I still wanted to change things, and still fighting things, and still, again, not the full surrender. There's these steps along the lines you reminded me of now. 2010, January 1st, 2010, I came home from a New Year's Eve party, and I just dropped to my knees and prayed, saying, please take this lifestyle away from me.
Wow.
or take me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and I don't know if you got to that point, Todd, but it was, you become so powerless because of your addiction and your choices and that lifestyle. And at this point, I wasn't quite to the full end of the spectrum, but I was close.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got to get out of this group of people. I've got to get out of making these choices. And so I knelt to my higher power, and I said, Holy Father, and the leather couch is still stained from my tears. As I poured those tears out and said, hey, take me. Just give me a heart attack during the night. Take me, or take all of this from me. And that's where my belief in my higher power began to kick in even more and more and more, because we can't do it alone. We have to have others. We have to have resources like Wasatch. We have to have a higher power to believe in that.
Yeah.
Because that becomes our, part of our why. And when you have that, it's like a gravitational pull, in my opinion.
For sure.
So I get out of jail. January 1st, 2010, I quit. I just quit cold turkey. Now, I told you I checked into, in April of that year, checked into a facility for 34 days.
Yes.
Just to make sure that I think I was kind of afraid to go out in the real world.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to come to a place that had the ability to give me the coping skills. And I remember driving my black, and I say it like this, and I hope it doesn't come across as cocky and arrogant, but it's a good reference point for me for where I was. And it means nothing, but drove up my black convertible SL 500 and parked it in the garage at this place and said, here's my payment for, I want to come here. And after 34 days, I left, and I haven't looked back.
Wow.
I've been very, you know the statistics.
Yeah.
To be able to give up drugs, alcohol, certain lifestyles, it's not like that. And mine wasn't like that either. It was little things along the way.
Yeah.
My 30 days in jail, you see guys in there, and it was like, Heavenly Father's going, hey, you don't want to keep coming back like these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, just little breadcrumbs back, right?
Yeah, sure.
I took the breadcrumbs and I got in the forest like Hansel and Gretel. It's like, how did I get here?
What is going on?
Right?
Yeah.
And then, it's a beautiful thing. And
did you feel pretty humble after the 30 days? Like towards the end of that jail stay, were you like, man, this is, or were you still the arrogant, cocky,
What do you
brass
think?
person.
Just
Probably
curious.
still a little arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're slow learners.
F that judge,
we know everything, right? As
Yeah.
addicts, alcoholics. Plus, I had money and everything, and now that was stripped from me.
Yeah.
It is pretty humbling when they take the suit that you wore that day, and you've got the suit, and I had my watch in that bag, and put it on. It was wrinkled. They didn't dry clean it for me. I was a little shocked about that, Todd. I thought they would strip me down and put me.
What kind of service is this?
Especially when I had to pay every day. I was one of those. I go, why am I paying? I should get better food.
Yeah.
That $80,000 Hummer that I drove to the parking lot that day was gone. I had to have my parents come pick me up. My house had been sold. Everything was basically gone. I had some black, hefty trash bags of my clothes from my house, and I'd been wiped out. So that was a start.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was still wanting to change the world. I was humble, but that was the beginning.
Yeah, gotcha.
And there's a quote there was a book in there that I read. It was called "To Him That Believeth," and they don't let a lot of books in there, but in the Work Center, this book was actually given to me. I served an LDS mission, and this book was given to me and signed by the author Frederick Babel. And Todd, I kid you not, and there's no coincidences in life. There's this book in the Work Center, and I'm thinking, I've never seen this book, only the one that I have.
Yeah.
And there's a great quote in there, and I share it because it was impactful for me to hear again. If you have faith in yourself to move a mountain, go grab a shovel. If you have faith in God to move a mountain, get out of the way.
Ooh, dang, that hits hard.
So little things, Todd, those breadcrumbs coming back, and I just had to keep having faith in my higher power.
Man, that's powerful.
And excuse me, now when I speak and tell my story, people are saying, "Well, that's great and everything, but how did you rise above? You had a way to rise above your chaos. We all have different ways." But I took the word chaos and I use that as an acronym.
Yeah.
So that when people say, "Hey, I'm in chaos now," and hopefully they'll remember that the C stands for a certain thing, the H stands for a certain thing, and I can go through it if we have the time. But
if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
So,
you can't leave us hanging, man. Come on.
Yeah. You and I could talk forever, so I just wanted to make sure we were good.
No, we're good on time. We're good.
So when chaos comes into our life, one way or the other, and most of the time it's from our choices, and there's a lot of times it's given to us to help us grow in life. And if we can think of it that way, it's easier to overcome it. It's just saying, why is this happening to me? This is happening for me now. How do I take it and mold it and create a better Todd Sylvester, better Curtis Marsh? So chaos, I use the acronym C. C stands for change and commitment and choice. So you have to make a choice. You know as well as I do that, and I've worked with enough people that I say, how committed are you to change your life? And what choices are you going to make? And you're going to laugh at this, Todd, because I know you've heard it. Well, I'm 98%. I'm like, get out of here.
Right.
Don't waste my time, because if you're not 100,
Yeah.
you're not, right? So
Yeah, sure.
you have to have 100% commitment. You have to be 100% committed to those choices to make the change, and that's what the C is. Once you have that, then the H stands for higher power. And whatever your higher power is, you have to really believe in that there's something bigger than you in this life to help, especially help pull you out of the situation that you're now in.
Yeah.
So my higher power, God and Jesus Christ, and I put my faith there. That keeps me in alignment with truly who Curtis Marsh is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different for everybody, but that's mine.
Yeah. Love it.
So the H, and then the A is accountability.
Love that.
You have to take full accountability for everything that goes on in your life. Once you're doing the blame game, I wanted to blame the judge, and I wanted to blame my ex-wife, and I wanted to blame my expense account because I had to entertain guys and I had to buy them booze and stuff. No, own your own shit.
Yep.
OYOS is my acronym for that.
I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible sponsors of the Beliefcast podcast. First, Craig from Craig Swap and Associates. If you need an attorney, he's your guy. Trustworthy, compassionate, always there when you need him most. Next, Wasatch Recovery, the greatest university on the planet, transforming lives one day at a time. Sandy from Minky Couture, the creative genius behind the most comfortable blanket you'll ever wrap yourself in. Comfort like no other. Special thanks to the award-winning pianist Paul Cardall for his beautiful music that brings inspiration to every episode.
Okay, so own your own shit.
Yeah,
and it's never too late to own it. You know, you may have a big stockpile of it. You may have a bunch of crap in your backpack that you've gathered, and once you stop labeling those choices as bad choices, people always say, man, they've said it to you, Todd, I'm sorry you made all those bad choices. That had to be no. Take that label off. Take that chaos label off. Take the label off those choices as bad. They were choices that led you to who you are today, led me to who I am today, and we're still progressing because that perfect word doesn't exist. There's no such thing. So you got C, commitment, change, choice. H is higher power. A is accountability, 100% accountability. And it helps when you have 200% accountability. That means you have someone. I think you're familiar. Well, you're
one of the principals of the Other Side Academy.
Yeah. Both you and I are friends with those folks down there and spoke there. So first when I saw that, I'm going 200%. But yeah, that's someone to hold you accountable.
Yes.
Okay.
We all need that.
The O is ownership. Own who you are. You're Todd Sylvester. You came to this earth with a purpose. You came as a 10. You're still a 10, despite what choices we've all made. Yeah. And we tend to, you know, we are all 10s. But if you were to ask people who are, I was out at the prison yesterday all day with Defy Venture. Have you worked with those guys before?
I haven't, no.
They entrepreneurial and business class, and they had all these inmates, and they did kind of like a Shark Tank. So they pitched us their businesses.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a real powerful thing. But they forget who they are.
Yeah.
I'm a child of God. You're a child of God. And once we remember who we are and associate with that higher power, don't forget that. Don't ever label yourself less than what you are. Don't ever label them bad choices. Sometimes I'll take a backpack into a speech and I'll put it down. There'll be a bunch of rocks in there, which are choices that I made.
Yeah.
I pass it around. They feel how heavy it is. And when I empty it, I say, what are these? And they say, bad choices. They're choices.
Yeah.
So we can change those. Just don't label them, because then what happens? The shame, the guilt, the blame.
Yep.
You know, I talked to some guys yesterday here at the Utah State Prison, and they still had a lot of shame. And I said, you got to forgive yourself.
Yeah. You've
got to get rid of that and forgive yourself before you can move forward.
Yeah.
That and surrender, you know, kind of go hand in hand. So the S is surrender. And I wouldn't say it's the final thing in the process, but that's to remind us, you know. So if you spell chaos, you use those letters, hopefully it'll help you rise above the chaos that you're in.
I love it. I think that's beautiful, and I thank you for sharing that, especially for our listeners. You know, it's pretty simple, like you said. It's simple choices led us down this path, but it's simple choices that can get us back out of it, right?
Right.
Get us back in line with our true self. You keep bringing up this true self thing, and just for our listeners' sake, what does that mean exactly? Because someone might be going, well, what's my true self? Love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I believe it's what we were meant to be. You know, we were born with a purpose.
Okay.
And we were born, with a power to do just about anything we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we have that inside of us.
Yeah.
And that's the God-given true self, I believe, that we have all been given. And so it's alignment with the true principles of life.
Gotcha.
You know, there's certain principles of life that never ever change.
Right.
And they bring forth great blessings and truth, right?
Yeah.
When you get into the false you or the false self, that means you've come out of alignment with that and you've kind of forgotten who you are. So the true you got to remember. My mom used to always give me some advice before I'd go out the door. Remember who you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm Curtis Marsh. Easy. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm here.
But she meant something deeper, right?
Yeah.
Remember who you are, Todd. Those choices that you and I make, if we remembered who we were and where we came from, and I mean, it does sound easy, like you said, but life is life. And if we learn how to adjust from the blows and the chaos, we're in good shape.
Yeah. Wow, I love that.
Hopefully that answered.
No, it does. Yeah. You know, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I've heard one of the best definitions of depression is pretending to be someone you're not.
Oh, yeah.
So again, when you get out of a line, like you keep talking about, you're over here pretending. So when you were blowing up your life with, your lifestyle and all that stuff, you were pretending. Even when you were being that brass, boastful, prideful guy in front of the judge, you were pretending. Because deep down, see, that's what surrender
False
does.
self.
Like you said, surrender brought you back to that's not me. Because I love it. Because when you start even talking about it, you're like, oh, man, I can't even believe I was that way.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But again, I appreciate the vulnerability as well that you're willing to share this, because anyone listening to this right now, we've all been on both sides of that on some level, right?
Right.
And so I love that, because I think depression does go away when we are in line with our true self.
So spot on, because we're beating ourselves up. We're fighting. It's like a car out of alignment. Have you ever driven one?
Yeah, it's a
good
pain.
luck. Yeah. It's depressing, right?
Well, yeah, it wears you out too. You're like trying to hold.
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting it. It's just like, hey, man, and we all get there, and people, who come here to Wasatch and other places for help. Thank you for all that you guys do, but it's, they all come in here a victim, pretty much, probably, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's one or two, okay, that come in that have surrendered and say, hey, I am here because I need help.
Yeah.
And
it really is. We get people who will be here almost 60 days that still haven't surrendered.
Yeah.
They still fight it, and it's like, well, we're gonna,
good luck.
We'll have you come back, I guess.
Yeah.
If you don't die. And that's the fear, because when they walk out of here who haven't surrendered, they're still like, you know what? You don't tell me what to do.
I can go see those buddies one more time.
Exactly. And it's like,
get high one more time.
If you don't die, come back.
Yeah.
Because we'll take you back.
Yeah.
We'll take you back 100 times if we have to, but we're here to.
Chills, man. That's cool.
So, wow, really well said, Curtis. Thank you. I love that. So let me make sure I've got this right. C is committed change and choice.
Yep.
H is higher power.
Yep.
A is accountability.
Yep.
O is ownership to who you really are. And then S is surrender.
Yep.
Beautiful. Guys, write that down if you haven't already written that down, because that would be a good reminder for all of us. Where are we at on those? Where are we at on all those? Like, truly, where am I at?
Yeah.
Have I surrendered? Maybe some level, maybe I have. Do I rely on a higher power? Or am I the one shoveling that and trying to get rid of that mountain behind me?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's.
I love that quote, by the way. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, it was powerful.
Dang.
If you believe in yourself to move a mountain, grab a shovel. If you believe in God to move a mountain, get out of the way. And that was a book called "To Him That Believeth" by Frederick Babel.
Yeah, I think that's what the mic drop.
Oh yeah,
that was a mic drop. Yeah. Boom. Well, obviously...
Yeah, I got that book. How ironic is that? I get that book given to me in my mission.
Right.
And then I see the copy in jail. Farmington Jail. There it is. There's no coincidences.
And it's almost like you weren't ready to really understand or feel that quote until you were in jail.
I was too cool, man.
Right? You're too cool.
I'm riding with Dee Snyder, and we're drinking and we're having a blast, and we're let's go get another Harley. Yeah.
Wow.
You have to humble yourself, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Isn't
sobriety just the greatest place to be?
It is.
You can speak for it. I can speak for it. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
I often tell my clients who are obviously just still struggling, I'll say, you'll never regret being clean and sober, ever. But you'll regret if you keep going back to it. You will. You'll regret it. And I think the other big thing, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is I see one of the things that hold people back too is they have this wish, like, oh, I wish I could drink like a gentleman. I wish I could have a glass of wine with my meal. And I'm like, no, that you're not missing out. I promise you. But that also holds them back, right?
Yeah,
they notice that.
I remember I thought, no, everybody's going to think, if I don't drink, I'm not cool. But,
right.
People respect those people who have become sober.
Right.
And it's you carry that badge humbly, but I've said to many people, I've been offered stuff, no thanks. I became sober. I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic, January 1st, 2010. And it's like, wow, really? It's kind of like they want to know more, but sobriety is a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Surrender is a beautiful place. Forgiving of yourself. Yeah. Loving yourself.
Sure. Well, I love that you just said that, loving yourself. That's a big one too, because it's hard to love what you don't know. So if you're pretending, like we just talked about, you're out of alignment. Right. It's hard to love that because you don't know who you are. You've forgotten. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So when you get back in line, how is that? That's good. It's hard not to love that. Right. When you're in line with all these principles and these values.
Right. That's who we're supposed to be. Yeah. That's who we were made to be. Oh, wow. And can I share another quick story on that?
Please do.
On that true self.
Yeah.
People used to always say, man, you've got everything.
Yeah.
I've got that book myself. That's a great book.
That book changed my life.
Yeah.
By the way, he's referring to a book over here. It's The Little Soul in the Sun by Neil Donald Walsh.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it, it's amazing. It's a children's book.
Yeah.
And it
applies. It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness. So good.
Wow, I saw that. Gave me chills. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Out of all the books I could put on a pedestal, there it is.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Yeah, that and the art on that is
it's incredible.
It just kind of says read me.
Yep.
There's truth in here.
There's truth in there.
So people used to say chaos. And now I'm known as, and Thurl Bailey said this to me a couple of weeks ago when he saw me, the man formerly known as Chaos. And I said, you've never called me anything but Chaos. But he said, you're formerly known as Chaos.
Yeah, real quick side note, I used to do basketball camps for Thurl Bailey.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Good man.
He's a
great
good
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so they would look around and they'd see big, nice houses, the boats, motorcycles, and the perception was you have to be happy, right? If you have all that. But no, that's extrinsic validation. That doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
But people, we're brought up that, if I have all of those things, I'll be happy and I won't have to drink or do drugs or whatever to find that. No. So I would say to him, and I'll use you and me in this example.
Sure.
Perhaps you said that to me, and I said, hey, Todd, I'll tell you what. You'd say, you have all this stuff, but you just don't seem happy. What's going on?
Right.
I say, Todd, I'll tell you what. You come over on Saturday. I'll be here till about noon. Come over to my house on Saturday, and we'll go back to that Harley Davidson safe in the corner of my garage, and in that safe has all of the titles to all of this stuff that you see. There's storage units full of it too, and there's other places I keep stuff. And what we'll do is let you grab a title of whatever it is that you want, and I just want one thing in return. And they're like, what? And I just said, come over Saturday and let's go through. Let's do this. They'd come over on Saturday. You'd come over We'd open the garage. We'd go back to the Harley safe, open it. What do you want, Todd? I'll take the convertible Corvette. Okay. Grab the title, and I go to hand it to you. And just as you try to grab it with your hands that say, oh, that's success, that's happiness, I pull that away. And I say, I just want one thing. And you go, what? Because you really want that Corvette.
Yeah.
I want one thing. What is it? And it's not money. Oh, what is it? I want inner peace. Trade me that Corvette for inner peace, bro.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I can't give you inner peace. I know. There's only one author of inner peace, and that's your higher power.
Yeah.
And that is surrender.
Wow.
So, oh man, every time I share that story, it takes me. So thanks for letting me share that, because it takes you, you don't want to look back in the rearview mirror. You go back to some of those pivotal moments and you just go, thank you. Wow.
No, it's beautifully said. No, thank you for sharing that. I love that. And again, I love your vulnerability. It's beautiful. And it really does paint a picture, guys. I heard this once by a guy named, you probably know the motivational guy, Gary V.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a beautiful definition of what he says success should be.
Really?
So I'll ask my clients all the time, hey, what's the definition of success? And they'll give you all kinds of answers, right? Gary V says the definition of success is waking up in a good mood.
Wow.
Because he goes, you can have the car, you can have the house, you can have the relationship, you can have the money, you could have all the traveling, but if you're not waking up in a good mood, what's the point?
Right.
And then you'll love this. And so I share this with my a group of my clients about a year and a half ago.
Right.
And this girl, one of my clients, and she added to that. She goes, no, Todd. She goes, I think the definition of success is knowing who you are.
Oh, wow.
And I went, it was like, again, mic drop.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, yes, there it is. Because, if I wake up in a good mood, it probably is because I know who I am.
Right.
And I'm in alignment, like you keep saying.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought, so all this external stuff, it's nice to a point, but it doesn't bring you alignment. It doesn't bring you inner peace. It doesn't bring you to the awareness of who you really are, and so on and so forth. Basketball was my identity back then. When that got stripped away from me, I was nothing. I was like,
you still were, but you felt.
I felt like nothing to the point where I was getting ready to end my life.
Yeah.
Because that's how scary that was. But what I didn't know then, but I know now, who I was made me really good at basketball. Basketball is just what I did.
Right.
Right. I didn't know that.
That's that be, do, have.
Yes.
And people, be that person.
Yeah.
Be Todd Sylvester. Be that 10. Be Curtis Marsh.
Yeah.
You are a child of God. You are a 10. Be that person. The rest will come.
Yeah.
Then do those things that are in alignment,
Yeah.
and you will have peace, surrender, humility, gratitude, all those things that mean everything in the eternal scheme of things. The rest of that stuff, it's nice, but it's fluff.
Exactly.
And it doesn't. People always say, well, if I had what you had, that's what they would say. Well, if I had what you had, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be sad or depressed. You just seem angry. I am. I'm out of alignment.
Yeah. Jim Carrey is.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You probably have heard this. It's pretty famous because he says, I wish everyone could achieve all their hopes and dreams and become rich and successful, because you'll realize that that's not where happiness comes from.
Oh, yeah. That's a powerful one.
Yeah, so powerful. And that's basically what you're saying, Curtis. And I think that's spot on. I love that. And again, how cool is it that you're here now versus that, that a-hole.
You could say it.
Okay,
that's
that asshole in front of that judge saying, whatever you want to do, man. I'll just bail myself.
Like,
well, no bail. I don't care. I know people.
I got money. I know
They'll get
people.
me out of here.
I just left Governor Herbert's office the week before, and I'm going to call him. I kept pushing that button in my cell going, what's my bell?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even answer me.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I love it. Well, I love what you're doing now. What are you doing now? So our listeners know, like, what's your What do you do? How are you giving back?
So, thanks, and I appreciate you asking that.
Yeah.
Giving back is something and that's part of the equation of recovery too. Is when you're giving back, you're in the service of your fellow being.
Yeah.
And when you're in the service of your fellow being, you're in the service of God.
Yeah.
And during some of my darkest times, I was always involved in children's charities during my darkest times because they didn't know what was going on in my life, but I was serving.
Sure.
And that was where Sean Johnson, who I met him when he was 8, and he's still around. And hey, Sean, he's in a wheelchair. He's been in one since he's 2, but here he is with muscular dystrophy, and I'm right alongside of him. And
wow.
I said something like, "I'm the giver, you're the receiver," and he ran over my foot, and he said, "Don't ever deny me the blessings of giving to you." And at that point, I learned a new lesson from a young man.
Yeah.
The giver is also the receiver. And so we have to give in order to get.
Sure.
And
I love that.
Man, I love talking to you. It's
it's been great.
Yeah, I've been excited for this, and I'm just grateful to meet you. You've changed a lot of lives, and I watch you out there, and
thank you.
And thank you for being a light and a strength to the world, babe.
Thank you.
World.
No, I appreciate that, and I know you feel the same way when I say this, that the reason why I'm where I'm at today is because I'm standing on shoulders of giants.
Yes.
And without these giants in my life that help show me the way, biggest giant is our higher power.
Right.
But without that, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, and I know you feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I want to end with this.
Go
ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You and I get talking. You asked me what I was doing.
Good. We're good.
I basically run Capital Growth Management, which is my investment firm. I had to get back in the investment world because I lost everything.
Right.
Yeah, so sorry about that. And then I also speak about rising above the chaos and how we can change our lives and transformation. And then I have a book, and I do a little bit of coaching as well. So
that's so cool.
Very similar to you.
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
If there's someone listening to you right now, Curtis, and they're in a dark place and they're lost, and they're listening to you right now and they are in trouble, what would you tell that one person right now?
Congratulations, you've acknowledged it. First of all, you felt that prompting to say, "Hey, I do need help." Yeah. So there's the C. You've made that commitment, that choice to change. Keep acting on that and take those next steps, whether it's people like you here at Wasatch, reaching out to a different friend. You can't run with the same group of friends that got you into that stuff, and that's one of the things that you kind of have to change. But that's what I say to them is, hey, first of all, congratulations. You've acknowledged where you're at.
Right. And
now you can open yourself up to the many blessings that come from that acknowledgement, and just fully surrender, seek the help. People want it to happen like this, don't they?
Yeah.
And everybody's different. You guys are a long-term program, TOSA. There's others. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. You have to gradually come back. So don't give up. You've just that first step of acknowledgement. Like me on January 1st when I came home from that party, I was like, I don't want to live this life. Yeah. And I've got to change. Take me or take all this. Wow. So.
What a humble thing to be doing. Whew. Saying those words, right?
How dark it can get, yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are beautiful words there, brother, and I'm thankful you shared those because I know someone's listening right now who needs that.
Yeah, and reach out to me on social media.
That was the next question. How, if they want to follow you and see your coaching and get your book and listen to some of your stuff.
The book is more of it's how I rose above in business. It's called Rising Above. It's on Amazon, and there's 15 entrepreneurs that helped write this book.
Nice.
And then you can follow me on Instagram under Rise Above the Chaos, Curtis Marsh, or my Facebook page, which is Curtis G. Marsh, and reach out. One of the promises I made that night that he didn't take me was that I will give back and I will pay forward. So anything I can do to serve to help that one person come back.
I love it.
It's a beautiful thing,
as
you know.
Yes, I do. Well, I encourage anyone listening right now to reach out to Curtis, follow him on social media, get his book, learn more about what he does. You'll be inspired for sure. And man, I don't know. This was a great conversation.
Oh man,
it felt like 5 minutes.
I know.
It just boom, boom.
We haven't never met, but
I know.
I love you, man, and
I love you too.
I mean that from my heart. And you're doing great
Thank you.
things.
That means a lot.
Keep being the light and the strength, bro.
I will. Thanks,
All
brother.
right.
Thanks for being here.
You bet.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Well, there you go, folks. Curtis Marsh, man, what a stud, right? Amazing stuff. I am blown away about how astonishing people are.
Yeah.
And for those listening right now, you are astonishing, whether you believe it or not. It's the truth. I don't say that to make you feel good. I say that because it is absolutely true. So thanks for tuning in. If you have a loved one who's struggling, send them a link to this episode. It'll inspire them. It'll give you some talking points to follow back up with them. And share it with your family and friends as you always do. I wouldn't be able to do this without all of you guys coming in week after week. Love you. And Curtis, one last thank you. You're the best.
So are you, brother. Thank you, man.